Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show Unaccountable. I'm here with St.Wave. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm from New York. I have just turned 32 this year. I've been doing I've been doing music for a while, about like 8 years, I'd say. I think I released my first like public release was like 2015. But from the grassroots, I'm from this small town, Middletown, about an hour and some change outside the city. And I went to college in Connecticut. I did 4 years. I started off doing engineering, switched into finance. But I kind of just picked up finances because I was just like, I want to take on this creative journey and work in music. But if all else fails, at least I understand money a little bit better. So I was doing like 3 or 4 jobs in college throughout. Like, 'cause I was doing a bunch of part-time things. So one job on campus, another job off campus, like so I can eat for free. I was working at like a restaurant, so I was like making sure I could eat better food for free because campus food sucks. So I was doing that, and all of the things I was kind of doing were just like odd jobs. Like I feel like I've done like anything and everything in terms of range. Uh, and a lot of it was just me using them as like skill building tools, really, to just become the artist I wanted to be. So I was bad at talking to people and bad at like speaking myself up to people and things. So I realized I should probably get a job dealing with people more. So then that's how I got into restaurants and work in retail. Then I realized I had like no office skills. So then I got like office jobs, like to kind of like offset those things and pick those things up. And now I actually work in the music industry while being an artist. So I used being an artist to build the skills. And then now I got like a full-time job in the industry as well, working for a publishing company.
Well, it's nice. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so not to get too much into the backstory of it, but restaurant wise, what restaurants did you work at?
I worked at like I worked at like kind of like these small like niche places like in Connecticut. It was mostly I worked in this spot called the Pawn House, and it was like restaurant slash like catering hall, like catering space. So they host a lot of events and stuff. Pretty popular in Hartford. And then I also worked at this place called Artisanal Burger Company in Connecticut as well. And I worked at a Greek restaurant in Middletown, like in my hometown.
So you had a lot of experience with restaurants. So tell me about the music industry a little bit. So you said you got a spot in the music industry. Can you elaborate
Mm.
more on that?
So I worked for the entry job I got into the industry was working for a company called Song Trader, doing music publishing. But I was in the royalties coordinate. I was the royalties department as a royalty coordinator. That's what I did. So I've been in that space ever since, but now I work for Downtown Music Publishing, so a bigger company now, doing virtually the same thing, just on a larger scale.
So tell me a little bit about your story for finances. Where exactly are we kind of getting off on the story?
Oh man, it's fun to think about, but I was probably making money at like 12 or 13 because I loved music at that time, like just digging for music. I still dig, so like everything I always listen to is kind of like new. And I used to make like burn CDs for people. So my mom would go to work, or between my friends like older siblings and stuff like that. You give me a list of songs, I get them for you. So and I would just charge people like $10 a pop for each one, and then I would go into doing that for like iPods when we went to iPods. So then it started off as just burning CDs, then it went into iPods. I had like 20,000, 30,000 songs on my computer, like anything from like Spanish to metal to scream to punk to rap to hip hop to like Haitian compa, which is my culture. So I pretty much doing everything, and I was like, that's what I was doing for money up until like 17. I got my first job at 16 working at Toys R Us. So that was like my first actual job, but that I was always doing the burn of CDs thing, the iPods and things like that, getting music for people. And it was fun because it was like, I wanted an Xbox for Christmas, and my mom would be like, "Oh, I can't afford that," and I was like, "Well, if I come up with half the money, can I get that?" And she's like, "If you can find a way to come up with the money, then I'll put the rest." I was like, "Alright, cool," and then that's kinda how it went for me, like, if I wanted something, I kinda had to figure out a way to do it. But then, got to college, my first year, miserable, had no money. Um, the following summer is when I started to, like, do work, like, more work, more seriously. So, like, I did, like, over the summer, I worked at, like, an Orthodox Jew camp for, like, $300 for the week. Like, just in the middle of
I'm
the
sorry.
woods.
The way it
Yeah, it
came
was a
off made me laugh a little. Was like,
it
mm,
was random. It was like, "Yo, I just got a message like, yo, $300 for the week." I'm like, "Yo, this is perfect. I go to school next week. Perfect."
True camp.
Yeah, it was just very it was crazy. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience. I got me and a few of my friends to join in.
I might get hated for laughing at that. Hopefully not, but I
I
might get
won't I
hated. I
won't
was like,
I
"That's
won't
a weird way to put it."
yeah, I won't dive into, like, my experience there too much. But yeah, made a few bucks before going back to school. Then I started working on the campus. I started working on campus at the print shop, and then I also had a job off campus working at the pawn house. So that's where kinda that stuff started picking up. I kind of felt like I wasn't getting a real life experience from college. So I felt like the closest thing I can get to it was working with normal people, not all college students. So I had to balance a job off campus and on campus. And I that's when I started working at the pawn house for a while. Summers I would do catering from then on. Um, I did sales, selling I sold like makeup and like hair products like in the street. Like, like those marketing companies that tell you that this is a marketing company until you start and it's all commission based and you're going door to door and doing sales.
I do,
Yeah, I got
unfortunately. Yeah.
yeah, I got caught up in that. Yeah, I got caught up in that. I was trying to get it for an internship. So I was
Mhm.
like thinking like, "Oh, I can do this for my internship perfect." And I was doing pretty well at it. Like I would sell all these products to guys, which was
Mhm.
funny. Like all this makeup and like hair
Makeup
shakers and
products.
stuff. I was like, "Yo, man, look, man, this stuff is cheap. You can't really lose if you just bring it back to your girl. And like, if she likes it,
That's a
great.
good
If she
strategy,
doesn't,
actually.
if
Yeah.
she doesn't, you're just being thoughtful. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you don't really lose out. You don't really lose out. Like, she either loves you or she uses the product, right?
That's
Like,
actually kinda smart. Never would've gotten that far with it. That's pretty good. I was
yeah,
thinking, "You're selling this to guys." I bet they're just picking things at random for no
yeah.
reason.
I didn't because like I feel like the biggest part with sales that I picked up on was just like the people don't like fluff talk when you're talking to them about stuff. So it's like I cut straight to it.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want to like butter this up. It's like I don't really know anything about this. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I know the difference between this and this, like makeup wise, but like it gets they go like girls like it, they buy it. So
You're part
here
of
you
the
go.
market. There you go. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
selling to you, which is everybody else to be like, "I don't know what this is,
yeah,
and neither do I."
yeah.
Buy
But
it
like I
though.
thought, yeah, but buy it though, and then like see if she likes it or not, and if not, you know where to find me, or if she do, like you know where to find me, whatever. And I did that to get my until I found out that what I was doing was illegal.
Oh,
I went,
oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
because I was going into businesses, like I was going business soliciting basically, and I
Oh.
didn't know. So when I brought this back to like the head guy, I was like, "If I get arrested, like, are you guys gonna do something about it?" And he said no, and I was like, "All right, that's my last day." I was like, "All right, this is my last day. I'm leaving. Like, this is stupid."
So they're
But
not trying to sway you away from doing it, but they are just like, "We're not gonna help you in the event you get caught doing what you're doing."
yeah,
That's kind of a shitty
I
way to
was
look
like,
at it.
and I was like 20, so I'm like impressionable. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just trying to get my internship. Like, I'm thinking that I'm gonna get paid, but I wasn't getting paid. I was getting paid off commission. So I had to sell these things, and I kind of looked at it as just like, cool, this experience in sales, I guess. So that's the way I was looking at it for a while to see if I could do it, and I was earning okay, but it was just like, if I get put in jail, you're not gonna help me for real. So like, I'm out of here. Like this is stupid. Uh, and basically from then I just finished. I finished school. My first job out of school, I went into, what it was accounting. It was my first job out of school. I worked for an accounting company, did that for a year. That didn't work out. After the year, I moved back to Middletown, restaurant stuff. Um, did that for, like, a while, but I was doing that and also working in a scheduling and, like, a medical scheduling place. So it was a cardiac office, like a doctor's office, but I was doing the scheduling. So that in the restaurant was what I was doing for a while. Then I moved back to Connecticut, and for a little bit, that was and at that job, that was cool. That was cool for a little bit. And then I came back to New York, did a bunch of retail things, saved some money, went into the pandemic,
Yeah, the
and then,
pandemic kinda got to everybody there.
yeah, went into the pandemic, and on the way out, I moved to New York City, did some retail stuff there to buy some time, and then, I applied to the music company. But all in that time, I was doing a lot of performing and merch sales and stuff like that. So, like, I had built my brand up, the wave theory, in that time. So I was using all these retail stuff to kinda see what people were buying off the shelves, you know? So,
Smart.
like, what kinda shirts people liked, picked up all the nuances of things, and then I kinda just started my own brand. I created a shirt that, like, took off, and when I tried to trademark the name, I got, like, a cease and desist letter from, the brand called Theory, like a high-end brand called Theory, and I was like, "I just stopped." So I just switched
Wait,
the name and used it for music. Mhm.
well, I mean, it's a smart strategy to get into retail and try to see what the current trends are. I mean, back when, I worked at Walmart, it was easy to trade the stock knowing when the stock was coming in. Because, it's seasonal. A lot of it with retail, truthfully, is seasonal. I think anybody could look at that, but when Black
Yeah.
Friday off, you can tell when the sales are going up and when they're not, because they had good deals and they had crap deals, and when the good deals were out, you bet on that stock. But, yeah, it's not bad. It just depends on what you're interested in. Yours was music, and that's a neat strategy for it as well. I was gonna say a cease and desist letter, though, what happened there? Is there like a conflict with the brand name or,
Well,
um
yeah, like, I when I was trying to trademark the name or do that stuff, I like, I guess, like, the way that I set it up, it was a full-on clothing brand, which was not really my intention. It's like, I don't know enough about clothes. I love clothes, but I don't know enough to say I'm a clothing brand. I was just trying to make merch for my music. It's just that the shirts that I was making cut off. Like, they caught on way before my music was, like, ready to do the same. So, I just had to steer into the skid, and just, like, continue with the ideas I was making. So, when I went to do the patent stuff, I just didn't do it the right I did it as a clothing brand, so they said that it was conflicting to the market and stuff like that. So, I got a letter, so they can take it to court or something, and I was like, "Well, I'm just not trying to go to court, so I'm just gonna put this on the back burner." So I still use it, the name, like, but for the merch and stuff, and just associate it more with the music. And the music eventually caught on, so a little bit, so, like, I can kinda do both now. But all of the stuff I was kinda doing was me kinda, like, going out into places where people were at all the time, and then just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a music artist, by the way," and, like, kinda putting myself out there, so that was the point of the retail stuff. I can get paid in a place where I know people.
I thought merchandise would be fine to sell. I know people that create shirts all the time, and they just sell them at wholesale or flea markets and stuff like that, and I will say the shirt game is really, really tough to make a good profit in. The market is very, very slim for people, at least in my experience, it's not very easy. So the fact that you made it
Yeah,
pretty big is pretty nice. I think that's pretty impressive because shirts are not easy to get out there, and not everybody likes the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, it's like it was kind of like this thing where, like, you just it's like I think people look at it to make, like, a quick buck, which I get, but for me, like, I'm not easily swayed to spend cash, so I have to really like something. So I was kind of looking at it from the perspective, like, I'm competing with the idea of, like, I want you to look at what's in your collection of shirts and be like, "I'm picking this one every time." So I put a lot of thought into, like, how the design should go. So when I kind of just blew up where it's like something like I sold like 300 shirts like fast, and when that happened, I was like, "Oh, I think I got a trademark and do all these things," and I probably should have took more time, you know? I probably didn't have to rush into doing that. If I didn't rush in and do that, I probably would've it probably wouldn't have impacted me as much, so I think I should have spent more time building that instead of going straight to patenting and stuff like that, I don't know, because once that happened, I kinda just, like, fizzled out a little bit. So, I just kinda started locking in on, like, just doing more shows and making more music and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I mean, your focus is music, which makes sense. Um, I think it's a little ridiculous how that patent or at least the brand works there. I'd have to do more research into that. I haven't thought about that. So hopefully nothing comes back
Yeah,
on me on this.
it's no, basically what kinda happens is, like, when you do your like, when you file for your trademark and stuff, there's different classes and things like that, but once you do it, like, it sends, like, a letter out to people or a notice out to a bunch of people maybe in that like, it's almost like they let like, a newsletter type thing goes out, and it lets them know of all the new stuff that's coming in, and if they see anything conflicting, they can, like, reach out. Yeah, and then you basically they get, like, a time frame where they could do that. I forget how long the time frame is,
Is that
and
for people in the same industry or is this just for t-shirts?
I think it's just overall, like, all
Okay.
trademarks that happen, and then you get, like, a time frame. Yeah, you get, like, a time frame to go through it and see if you wanna, like, bring anything up, and then you can reach out to that person and, like, work that out on your own or whatever. So that's kinda what happened. So in that phase of it, I got caught up in that. I look at finance as kinda, like, realistic. I take a realistic like, approach to it. Um, so I know that, like, I go on the YouTube and everything, like, always on those things, like, looking things up and, like, trying to, like, find, like, the home run of, like, what the ideas are, and I just came to terms, like, there is no home run. Like,
There's not. No.
there's just not, like, it's just not, and the I guess the home run would be, like, finding a passion, so you enjoy what you're doing at the time while you're doing it, but it's, like, actually making, like, concrete, like, plans, really. So I've spent, like when I started doing music, I kinda wasn't like, "Oh, I wanna just be famous and touring everywhere," and it was just like, "No, I just want it to be, like, a financial, like, boost to, like, my life in a way that makes sense." Like, for me, like, it's like every stream to me is like a Roth IRA. Like, it's like, oh, it just compounds over time. Like, I can use that to fill my portfolio whenever I get those smaller checks and stuff like that. So, I was like, "Alright, that's like, once you're stable, you can kinda do whatever you want." So my idea was just like, "Oh, I'll go with I'm trying to shoot for, like stability in this thing, and once I get to that point, we'll talk about scaling." But I'm ideally like, I like the low key life, like, free, like, just floating through it, flowing through it and stuff. That's the thing that kinda inspired me the most with this whole thing. So I was just like, "Oh, it'd be super badass if I could just, like, get this thing to, like, fill, like, my portfolio and help me reach, like, certain benchmarks and goals faster."
I actually
And in
think
that
you and
way
me might be in the same boat in this situation here.
yeah, like, that's exactly how I look at it, and it's like, "Alright, like, let me just build a portfolio that makes sense." Just let me just, like, make sure my portfolio makes sense, like, make sure I'm taking care of myself, and then all this stuff is, like, good quality extra if you do it, like, in an efficient way. So, the home run thing, it's like, there's not everybody has to be a Drake or anything like that, and that doesn't even seem that fun to me. Like, that life "Does that?" I was like, I always thought fame is not fun.
I
Cause look
never wanted fame on anything either. Even this, like, I don't even want this to blow up to be, quite frankly, as big as some of these YouTubers have. What I want from this is because if you wanna be on I mean, like you said, you have to find your passion, especially when it comes to YouTube. If you're interested in YouTube stuff, that's what I mean, I grew up on it. It was prime TV my entire childhood, quite frankly, except, part of it was VHS tapes because we were poor.
mhm.
There was a brief intermission where it was just VHS tapes and then YouTube came out, and that was it. But I didn't wanna do any videos because I didn't have any good ideas. I didn't have anything that I truly cared about that I would wanna take, the next 10 miles. And
Yeah,
I wanted something that would not necessarily be the best thing for the audience as much as I really wanted something that would be the best thing for me. I want something that I can feel satisfied with at the end of the day. I want, like, something that preoccupies every bit of my time to a point where it makes sense, you know?
yeah,
And to start it, it never does, and the ideas, they're always everyone's got a different idea of how you should do this, do that. The reality, soul-crushing reality is nobody knows how to make it. A lot of them got lucky as hell, and the strategies you use to implement that are based on theirs can work, but at the end of the day, I mean, it really depends on what you're doing and whether
yeah,
people wanna hear you, and that's
yep.
pretty much it, and that's this whole thing is just for people to understand and listen to other people. 'Cause it's something I lack.
It's funny
So
because money is it's just realism. So, like, if you're not prepared to like, you only way to really it's like, only way to really earn is to be honest. So, if you're not being honest with yourself or with what's out there, then that's when stuff starts to really offend you. So, like, a certain person who is super rich, people always critique the hell out of them. They're fans of them as they're trying to do it. Then when they get there, it's like, "Oh, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that," and stuff like that, and it's like, it adds weight to the mirror. I feel like we're all mirrors of each other, and I think money adds, like, weight to it. So, it's kinda like you and your friend are, like, always together, like, do the exact same things, like, great, and then you start to earn a little bit more and, like, things start to change within your relationship a little bit,
yeah.
you know?
Well, yeah, they'll change because like you said, the weight of money, it puts a lot of pressure on you as well. It's like lifestyle changes. If you manage it at a moderate level, the changes won't necessarily happen as quickly or as brutally. I know some people that went from 30,000 to 160,000 in a year, and they didn't change. They just had more
Mhm.
responsibilities, and
Yeah,
looking at them, it's pretty obvious, how things have changed for them, but again, it's just more responsibilities. I mean, I mean, there's not much you can say about that, quite frankly. It really just it all depends on how you handle it, and if you're crushed by the stress of more money, then you need to find some way to remove
yeah,
it from the process, which is even better in my opinion, because I believe in only living on 2/3 of what you make. Everything I have is based on 2/3. I won't live beyond that. 1/3 is entirely up for debate. I mean, you go to up to a
yeah,
savings account and this and that and everything in between, but the reality is that 1/3, it's gonna go somewhere because I only live on the 2/3.
yeah, and, like, I've been reading this book on, minimalism, and not necessarily, like, do I care to be, like, a super minimalist, but I just wanna, like, train my brain to just to less, to believe in less. 'Cause, like, a lot of times it's like, now I feel like I'm in, like, I'm starting over kinda thing. I'm in that a part of my life where, like, I'm starting over, and this past year, I just, like, focused on just getting back to 10K. I was always dumping everything into, like, my craft and debts and, like, student loans and things like that, and I was like, "If I keep paying these loans in this way, like, I'm not really setting myself up in the future." Like, if compounding's supposed to be my best friend, but I'm hyper focused on this thing, I'm doing myself a complete disservice, like, so I was like, "I gotta switch the priorities up." So now it's like, "Alright, well, let's focus on building a portfolio that can compound itself a little bit before I start worrying about principal on this debt." But when you go online, it's always, "Yo, kill the debt, kill the debt, kill the debt," and it's like, but time is your friend with compounding and stuff like that. So I was like, I guess it depends on what you want, like, what stress you kinda wanna have. I already settled in my head, like, I'll pay these loans to my grave. I don't care. Like, you'll get the minimum payment with, like, for 60 years, I don't care, but, like, what I would feel safer having is money in, like, my portfolio.
No, I mean,
I
it's how
just
you
feel
manage it.
better I just feel better in life going through it that way, knowing that something is growing with me, like, my efforts aren't just draining me. So
it's a neat way to look at it with that though,
mm,
and I say that because I know somebody that what they do is, they have loans, they have student loans, and they refuse to pay them off. Now they're paying them, like you said, at the minimum, and it's gonna take decades before they'll ever pay them off completely, despite the fact
yeah,
that they actually have the money to pay them off. Now for me, I would just pay that crap off and move on to the next stage of my life.
mm, yeah,
That's me. I don't wanna worry about it. It's gone, it's done, it's over. But the reality is you could technically use that as leverage. The money you owe in student loans can also be used as investments. So you would have the money essentially to pay it off. But by paying the minimum, you just initially use the money you were going to pay it off with to invest it in something else like the S&P or the Nasdaq. Even you put it in an index fund or hell even just Microsoft at a really low time skyrocket its ass up. I mean, the reality is if you do that, you can make more money using it as leverage rather than actually using it to pay off the loan because the loan resets you. It
yeah,
ultimately will reset you. If you're fine making the minimum payments, that's another thing. You can actually probably find a point between how much you make in a year with the investments and how much you're paying in a year in the minimums as interest and principal, and try to find that middle ground where it becomes too much in the principal, or sorry, too much in the interest to actually be worth it. To be fair, because
yeah,
you have to be investing and you have to be making money while using leverage. If you're not making any money and you're just paying off the interest by using the money, well, that's not doing crap. You're just still paying the interest. You're actually losing profit from the
yeah,
investment and the interest. It makes no sense. But if you leverage it the right way, it can work. It's a breakdown you have to do if you
you have to
want to
really think
choose
it
that
through.
route. Yeah, you
You gotta
really need
really
to
think it
look
through.
at that route and be like, that's what I want to do. If you don't want to do it and you want it gone like I do, or if
Yeah,
I have loans, they're gone. I don't need that crap on my chest. It's too much weight. It's too much of a burden.
yeah,
So I move
'cause
on.
that's yeah, and, 'cause, like, I was going through this whole thing where I was, like, just paying, 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 and I was just like, "Yo, I got, like, nothing to me right now." So I was like, "You know what? If I spend a few years focused on this, I can pivot back into taking care of those from a place that's, like, better." And on top of that, I'm kinda, like, leveraged into dividends. So it's like, if you get year it's like, if I can get, like, a year's worth of dividends that can, like, total, like, 1,000 at least,
Mhm.
that means
I wouldn't
every
bank
year
on
on that
dividends
alone.
though.
I don't bank on
Yeah.
it, but it's all this stuff is not really banking on one thing, but
Okay.
it's in the community of all the things you have going on, all that helps.
Yeah.
So, all that
With
helps. So, I
dividends,
just kinda
it's
it's just tricky.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's not required. No company's required to pay you a dividend, and it. I understand that people used to. I saw a video about being making an income just solely off dividends. Well, that's great, except one they don't have to pay
It's
you a dividend. If you're in a recession, you're not getting a freaking dividend, okay? It's gone. It's
point.
they're not getting it. Whether it's $5 or not, it's gone.
But that's where the realism is in. It's like that's why you have to really focus on the realism of this. Like, I'm saying this thing, but I know that this thing, it's about
Yeah.
the whole portfolio, just certain layers to building your portfolio and stuff. So, it's about balancing yourself, giving yourself some more leverage, and giving yourself some compound, and it gives you more fuel. 'Cause you're burning your some people are just gonna burn themselves out, which I was like one of those people where I was just like, "I'm just burning myself out," and I wasn't making anything. I need something else to drive me. So to do that, I was like, "Alright, I gotta feed myself something." So I felt like with paying myself, I now have more incentive and more grind to go pay off that loan faster. Before, I just felt like I was just bleeding myself dry, and I had nothing to show for anything. But with this is also someone that's, like, selling shirts, you know,
Well,
making
a
music
hustle
and
here
finding
and
other
there is
ways to
not a
do it.
bad thing, yeah. I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
respect a hustle in my opinion, and even from the age of 12, you said you were hustling burner CDs. That's a huge risk. I mean, it's a risk because, well, I don't know what people were using CDs back in the day. I don't know. What how old are you again?
No, I'm 32.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, we got a bit of an age gap. I was gonna say back in my day, we had Blu-ray and nobody was burning CDs. But if you were hustling it from that age, I mean, it's respectable because you're going out, you're doing it yourself, and that's important to do, especially if you're doing any hustle. You have to do the work yourself in the beginning. If you pay everybody to do crap in the beginning and you're not making any money, and it's a waste of time.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a fun
so
game though.
oh,
I
yeah,
look at it now. It's
yeah,
a fun game.
hustling's fun.
You learn a lot you learn a lot of things. You don't feel like you're at the like the whole thing is like not feeling like you have one way of doing anything. So it just keeps your mind like going or looking at things from like a better perspective. I think like you just look at life as a walking opportunity, really. You know,
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how much debt do you currently have? You mentioned your student loans.
I'm at slightly under. I'm at like 90 something right now.
Okay. Um, I say. So for 90, um, what's their minimum payment?
Like I feel like 800, 900.
Okay. So what's the interest on
It,
that then?
it's uh it varies because they broke it down. You know, it's like
Okay.
someone took that portion, someone took the other portion, so I gotta check on that. But for the most part, I'm slightly it's like I'm covering the interest plus a little bit of the principal
Okay. What's that?
along the way. So
Yeah, yeah.
I am knocking down chipping at the principal. So I made sure like you're at least knocking that down over time. Um, yeah, so I make sure that's happening at least. So,
That's good.
but
No, I
thank
mean, if you're okay with paying off the minimum and keeping up with it, that's good. My concern for you would be if you pay or if you miss the payment, but you can make it up. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I just, you seem financially put together, stable, I suppose. That's the word I'm looking for, is stable. So
yeah,
I think you're fine. I would be concerned about because, like I said, I don't do loans.
I
Um,
hate them.
yeah,
I hate them. I hate them. So
it's definitely a pain, in my
yeah,
opinion.
it's a pain in the ass. But I like now I'm kind of just like, oh, this is like my reality is this, and I'm just at this point I'm very risky. Like, I'm a
No,
risky guy.
it's good
I
as
bet on
long as you're
myself. I
making
bet on
money from it.
myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bet on myself. In a lot of ways, I don't. When I tell other people, I'm like, yeah, man, you should probably want to just knock that shit out. Me, like, it's like I was like, I got like a lot of different things I kind of use, and I'm using them in a like creative way, and I'll check back on Unaccountable, let you know
yeah.
how it went.
No, yeah, absolutely, to begin with. That's why they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
payment plans.
I'm not for the idea of like just like disregarding that you have these things, which is
Mhm.
a lot of things. People are like, oh, like
It's a
I'll just
lot of
deal with
them.
it anyway. It's like no, like don't do that. Like don't do that. It's like you want to be able to at least like cover something and take care of yourself at the same time. But like I just try to put one step in that one foot present, another foot in the future. Like so that's it. That's basically it. But people don't have conversations in general
No, they don't.
enough. So I think that's where I think something like this really helps. You're not like you go online and you go on YouTube and the things you kind of it's hard to at this point now it's harder to just take what people are saying on YouTube and stuff though like in a way because it just seems like regurgitated like not
Really
real
disingenuine, a
life
lot of them.
yeah disingenuous doesn't really feel like that so I think like community based efforts around a certain thing really helps um so I think just having just dialogue in this way where it's like you bring someone on they talk about the situation and it's like I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it helps a
Um,
lot. I think it helps a lot. Therapy helps a lot too, because I
yeah,
make sure
like
I
I
do
said,
that.
I may not post her video because of how bad it was. There were some shorts that I think might be interesting, and she signed the release agreement, which I'll send you as well. But it was a therapy session.
Mhm.
It wasn't a talk. It was a therapy session. She needed someone to talk to, and I understand that.
Oh, yes.
Because yeah. But other than that, I mean, like I said, y'all have a plan. And about the whole parent thing, I was gonna mention. Me and my dad have a plan worked out for our stuff. When we're dead, just throw our ashes under a tree and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, please. That's what I'm on. That's
That was our
I would
strategy.
that's what I wanted to go, make me a tree. Like, put some of me in a tree and put, like, a little bit of me in, like, a little capsule thing that people who want can have. Like, "Yo, you can
Yeah.
take me with you if you want."
Well, we
Like,
have
let me see the world with you.
but, I was gonna say, so this is kind of a question I've asked most people. How were your finances growing up?
Like, in my household, like, growing up? Um, it was very tight. I have 2 younger sisters. Both my parents are Haitian immigrants. And my dad, like, he's very, kinda like us, like, he's very financially sound, forward thinking, and everything like that, but they always work, like, 2 jobs, both my parents. They're, like, creative with their money in a way. So, I went to private school for most of my life, they paid for that, up until I was, like, 15 or 16 is when I went to public school. Well, they paid their way from just working both of them working 2 different jobs to do that for, us for a certain amount of time. So, in the household, it was always like my mom was a little bit more like you only get one life, live your life, enjoy it. She was always making sure we like dress well and things like that, had things that we liked for the most part. And then my dad was more like save every dollar, penny pinching in a way. So a lot of my perspective and my viewpoints really come from 2 extremes. So the way I think now is like I think on both sides. Like I think about like how to live a life and also like I gotta prepare for life when life happens, when the other side of life happens. So growing up, I was like I got to see both sides and I got to see what they do and I also got to see what the arguments that come with that thinking as well. Uh and with that, I kinda adapted, like, my family's, like, way of my perseverance. It's kinda, like, embedded in me, become a chameleon to figure out how to make the money I gotta make to survive.
Sorry about all the noise, by the
So,
way.
yeah, that'll work. So, spending wise, like, our money habits and stuff wise, it was very just, sound, I'd say. Sound, like, I got a lot of, experience between them. Like, I watched us go from the smaller house to the bigger house. I saw that how that happened. I saw the stresses of it. I saw the stresses of having too much stuff. 'Cause, like, all the stuff we had in our small house just became stuff we had in our garage for so many years. So it made me not like having things. What's the point? Like, what's the point? Look what you guys did. Like, you guys cherished these things, and then look, it ended up in our garage, like, for how many ever years, and then we got more stuff, so it's like
Well, like you mentioned,
yeah,
when you wanted something, like you mentioned earlier, when you wanted something, you went out and you worked for it, which is a value not many
yeah,
people have today. I think
yep,
some people are trying, but they learn it later. You learned it younger,
yeah,
which was good. At least in
yeah,
my opinion, it's 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 a lot better than in learning it later. Learning it later is it just bites you because it's
yeah.
harder. Lessons learned later in life are a lot harder than you learn them younger. I mean, it's just I think that's just the nature of how everything really kind of works with that.
I think
I
everybody
don't know how
has their
much to
own
say to that.
timeline.
Yeah,
Everybody
and
has their own
that's just really
timeline.
good. Everyone's
Like,
always gonna find their way. It's just a matter of time before they figure it out. I
yeah,
think
grace
some people
and
are just
information.
yeah, I think some people have gotten pretty lost over the years. But for the most part, what I see with them is they usually find their way. It just depends on how quickly, or at the very least, what it is. Because I've seen people go from top to bottom, and it hell, even I was homeless for a little bit, and I mean, it
Oh,
happens.
man. Couch
Just
surfing.
yeah,
couch surfing, all that
yeah, I was
I think a
couch for a
lot
while.
I saw this post, like, I did that for a while too. I'm one of those people that just, like, I learn things really like, in a hard way. I gotta be immersed in something to really learn from it, and this post I came across was saying that, like, your income is a direct reflection of your nervous system, which your nervous system's able to, uh, like, handle, and when I think about it, it's like, it's exactly that. It's like the more comfortable you can get with yourself and why you do certain which is why therapy is important in a lot of this stuff because the more you understand yourself and why you did certain things or the history of like what your decisions your parents made and stuff like that because all that stuff plays a part in what you did and the more digging you do in there the more you're willing like the more kind of like understanding and confidence you have in yourself to take necessary steps forward for yourself like and I think that will ease a lot of like people's minds and stuff if it's like don't really focus on there's a portion of this where you're not supposed to focus on the money, you're supposed to focus on you. And if you start with focusing on you, then you can switch into like taking whatever job you need to take or whatever the case may be. Because I think people kind of fear getting lost in the job or lost in whatever the role is, or some people have fear in that. Like they might not take a role because they of who they might be or how they might look. And it's like if you know this role is a stepping stone to what you want to do, it won't matter to you the same way as identifying as that job. Like, because I've seen a lot of that. It's like, you won't take this job for real, bro. Like, you said you needed cash last week, and this opportunity fell in your lap, and you don't want to take it. And it's like you don't need it forever. You just need it for like 3 months if it needs to be 3 months. If it needs to be four, like just take it for three. Like, go work at Walmart for 3 months if you need it for 3 months. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like in 3 months, you'll be in a better spot. Another opportunity might come, and you could take it. Like, so that's kind of like my viewpoint. Like, my parents was like always like that. It was like my dad's like a handyman. He was just like, all right, I'm gonna just do this, make 2K doing this thing for I just did for myself. I'll do it for somebody for 2K because I need it. And I think a lot of that he said is coming with just like finding out what ways you can be useful.
Yeah. A lot of the way I think people question it these days more, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that's just me, is my parents were not, um, they weren't, well, I don't want to say anything horrible, but they were great. To be fair, they were great. Um, they were just a little tougher.
Yeah.
They had to be because they wanted us to be tough.
No, yeah, I
Now,
knew.
obviously, it
Yeah.
was yeah, no, don't get me wrong, like, horrific, because 'cause I've heard some stories where those are like, "That's way over the line." Like, there's some
Yeah.
abuse in people's lives, and that's way over the line. No, we weren't like that, never. We were just, we had to work, to understand, and we needed a little bit more time when we did. Uh, at least I was a bit of a slow learner, and, and I think we all kinda were, so but we
Yeah.
once we were adults, it's almost like we knew what the hell we were doing. So, like I said, the lessons learned earlier are a lot better than when you have to learn them later, and it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so when you took on these student loans, you said, did you get your degree in finance, I believe?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. So when you took on these student loans, how long did it take you to complete your degree? And you said you were working two jobs at the time. So can you elaborate on the stress a little bit between the two jobs? I mean, going back and forth, working two jobs is a lot. I mean, I tried to manage it after I graduated, and I was crap at it.
Yeah, it was a lot. So it took me about 4.5 years to do it. So I did it like virtually on time, but I had like one class I had to do, that they just didn't have for me. So I had to wait the following year, whatever, to take it. But what happened was like I was more scared of when I was going home for like the summer, like after my first summer, I went home and life just felt boring to me. And I felt like that was like backwards because I was like, why is it when I leave school, I go home and that's boring to me? I have to fix that because life shouldn't feel that way. Because what's going to happen when I get out of school? So when I was taking these jobs, it was kind of like I wanted to have as close of a real world experience as I can, right? So while I was in school, I was kinda like I like my class load, I didn't max out the credits, I did, like, 16 instead of, like, make it try to do 18 each time or something, and I worked at the restaurant, like, on the weekends and from, like, 5 to, like, 9, like, sometimes throughout the week, and then my other job was on campus, which I would use f like, I would, like, basically just I get paid up until a certain point because it was through the FAFSA stuff. Like, through your, like, through the FAFSA, so you're only allowed to work a certain amount of hours, but I would do extra work in exchange for, like, food and stuff on campus. I would go to the job and be like, "Hey, you guys mind getting me food? I'll come in and do so and so for y'all." And that's kinda something I set up with them. So I would just while I was on campus in between classes and stuff, I would go do a couple hours with them, like, in the print shop. And then, like, after I finished my classes, go to I would go to, like, the restaurant and, like, just work, like, the dinner shift. And on the weekends cater the parties, like the big parties, not like the full 8-hour day or whatever.
So it's a busy life, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
It's busy,
and
busy.
I was running all over the place. I was running all over the place.
Well, didn't
But
did FAFSA
it
not
made
help
me
you
more
out?
well-rounded.
Well, you said FAFSA helped you a little bit, but you're only allowed to work so many hours. Did they not have anything like a Pell Grant for you?
Well, I had, like, the grants and stuff, but if you were gonna do, like, work study, they only allotted you a certain amount of work study for the semester. So, I once you maxed out those hours, like, you were kinda just, like, asked out for any money. And then I moved off campus because it was a little bit cheaper, and that's where, like and then that's where I had to pay, like, my own rent and stuff. So, um, it was difficult, but I was way more engaged in my life. Like, I didn't feel very passive, like, life just felt more exciting and more alive to me, more realistic than just going to class. I was, like, not the greatest because like, I would whenever I studied my ass off, I just wouldn't do well, but if I just did what I need to do and then go take the test and stuff, I just somehow did better. So I just kept up with it, I guess, just that way. So, with doing it, I'm happy I did. 'Cause it made me more, well-rounded, like, of a person, like, earlier on, so there's a lot of, like, real life things that happened, like, post, like, college that I kinda was aware of early on. So, like, I kinda was conscious of what my decisions meant a little early.
That's good. Um, so with this with the education, um, like I said, it seems like you were trying to find yourself a little bit more, and that there's nothing wrong with that. I'll be honest with you, and I don't know if anyone's ever told you this. I'm not a firm believer that college is for everybody.
It's not.
yeah,
It
I would say
it's not.
I'm glad you graduated because you committed, and that's important, especially when it
It
comes to
wasn't for
college.
me.
Yeah,
It wasn't for me. I
but it's
wanted to
not for
drop out.
everybody. Yeah,
I wanted to drop out, and I was like, "This is not for me." But there's another side of it that I tell people. I was like, I didn't like it. I wanted to drop, but, like, I don't like quitting things. So, it's like, I'm halfway in, it's like, I mean, I got it. I'm halfway in. Like, I'm not about to just not do this. Like, it's like, I'm just gonna finish. So, but the other thing to me was that I was happy about later on is that it teaches you to finish things. Like, you build a habit of how to finish things. So, when I got out of school, the thing that I just turned my life into, like, a course. Like, I didn't look at it as, like, this existential thing, like, I just looked at it as, like, "Alright, you need milestones, you need, like, a system, like, and you need to finish." Like, and you
so you
can't
set
judge
goals for
anything.
yourself.
Yeah, you can't judge anything until you finish. So, it just I feel like the mechanics of it, I just adapted to, like, my life post, and if I didn't have that to use as, like, a framework, like, it'd be much more difficult. So I think I got that side of it. That's what helped a lot. But other than that, I was most of the stuff I used in life, I didn't take from there. Like, the job I have now working full time was stuff I did for myself on my own, taught myself how to do, and then, like finessed. Like, I took my resume and took all the things I said I did for myself, and then was working at a studio, like, that I was making all my music at, and I just asked the studio owner, I was like, "Can I just say I did this for y'all?" Like, and he was like, "Yeah, why not?" And then they called him, he said what I did, and then I got my first job, like, in the
Well, that's
music
good.
industry. So I'm doing what I want. They're like and it's like, you kinda get creative. Like, you start to bend things to make it work for you and things like that, and I think that showed me how to do that. Class showed me how to do that. Like, you don't know how you're gonna pass this test, and you gotta find out. You gotta talk to that guy over there. Like, you don't wanna speak to him, but you gotta go over there and talk to this kid, like and now I'm doing, like, a study session with him, and we're exchanging info and things like that, and I think that stuff is what I took into life post school. Like, I don't know, cool, I'm gonna ask this guy. He knows.
In the beginning, it always
Like,
seems like in high school and when you're younger, you build more endurance towards the more stressful things in your life. And then as far as college goes, you're right. You're not, I mean, you said bending things to make them work. And it's similar to what I think of it as is it gives you a different perspective. You get more of an outside the box kind of idea for different things, and one of the things that I mean, one of the harder things when it comes to jobs is how to strategize yourself and present yourself in a way that people find you impressive or find you to be the right fit for the job. Like you said, you had somebody vouch for you. And that's a perfect example. Building connections and having people vouch for you is part of college. However, I do still believe that not everybody needs it. I know too many people that when they went to college it was so wrong for them that they should have left. They really should
Oh,
have.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to have
I agree.
them on the podcast one day, but they should have,
I agree.
no.
I'm not like, I've told my sister not to go. Like, my parents were pissed. They're like, "Why would you tell her that?" I was just like, "I told her take your time." Like, you were like, "Why do they make you rush into a decision? Like, you're barely a person at that age. You shouldn't have to rush into that. Like,
Well,
and you should
nowadays
know."
with the job market, it's no different. Like if you're trying to do something in finance, they want more sales experience than they want college experience. They don't really care as long as you can do the job. And if you have sales in some aspect, they'll likely consider you, if not more. And that's just because college is, you know, getting an understanding of what you're doing. But nowadays, there's so many training programs out there that probably build an understanding a lot better than college ever did. It just depends on what you're learning. Like real estate is something a lot of people get into after college. And I think you're required to be your own broker. You have to have a degree in one of the major fields. But if I'm not mistaken, to be a realtor yourself, you could just go out and go do it. Go get a license, go
Yeah,
do it. It's a tough I
yeah,
will say it's a tough area to make it though. There are
yeah,
not a lot of
yeah.
realtors out there that make it,
I
which
I'm
is
not built for it.
yeah, it's hyper inflated since 2023 and 2024, quite frankly. Well, maybe 2021 because 2021 was a big time for real estate too. So probably since
Yeah,
21, things have kind of shot up. But I think what a lot of people started realizing now with the job market now is it's not as good as it was made out to be. It doesn't make a crap ton unless you're the best at it, and you need to believe that you're really good at it. Don't get arrogant, just believe that when you come in, you did the best to your ability to make that shit work. That's it.
yeah.
That's any
I
job.
don't I hate talking about buying homes and stuff like that. I was like,
It's so
I feel like,
stressful.
it's too stressful. I don't like
Yeah,
I from doing sales, like, and being around people who, like, who do sales, it's like they're not most of them are not selling for your best interest. They're selling for their pocket, and I
there's a
don't like
lot
to
of them
play
like
that
that.
game. Yeah, I
I'm
don't like to play
fortunate enough
that
to
game.
have
Like,
some
you're
people who aren't, but
ruining
there's
people's
a lot
lives.
like that.
Ruining like, you're actively ruining people's lives,
Well,
and that's they make people
yeah,
make their
I'd
own
say
decisions, but
it
it's
kind of
like,
depends
you
on
know
that.
damn well, this guy can't afford this house. It's like, and when that 2000 whatever crash happened, they were giving them these ridiculous loans, people that
Are you talking
couldn't
about
pay them.
2009?
Yeah, like, when that
Yeah,
happened,
that was a
they
different
couldn't pay
thing.
them.
Well,
And my cousin,
that
he sells
had a lot
cars.
more to do with what people were doing, not so much as whether they could. I mean, yeah, you're right. They couldn't afford the mortgages they were getting, without a doubt, they couldn't. But that's because they weren't verifying. That had more to do with banks and people issuing these adjustable rate mortgages
Yeah.
to
It's
screw. I
top to
mean,
bottom.
yeah,
It's just
they
all
were
of it
just
was
trying to
ugly.
inflate everything so they can get more money out of it.
Yeah,
But
because
it
I
was
know they're
way
gonna
at the
approve
top
you.
that that was happening, and the people on the bottom were just happy to get a commission.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it was
like,
going everywhere. Everybody had it.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
you're just
really
trying to get a commission,
widespread.
and I understand, you know what I mean? So I did, like, from doing sales, like, I get it. I
Mhm.
know I know what's on the line for you, so I don't wanna play that game, so I'm not getting
Yeah.
into that real
No,
estate thing.
I get that too. I will say the people I have around me are I'm pretty fortunate that they're not in it for the pocket, but that's because 'cause I've had some long-lasting friends for a while, and I'm if anybody if watching this, happy as ever to refer them to you. They are God's honest, really good salesmen, but even better that they don't try to screw you over. Like, this whole house here was on sale. It was a great deal. It really was, because it cost less than the average rent in the area.
That's
So,
dope.
yeah, but I mean, you gotta have people that have a really, really good deal, and you have to have a really good realtor. And I will say car salesmen, they're pretty slimy, but you do eventually find one in the bunch that's not terrible. It just may take you a long
Yep.
time. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
car salesmen will just they're really in it for the commission because if you
Oh,
leave
yeah.
without buying anything, like, they don't care that you're buying a car outright. they want you to they wanna believe that you're gonna finance this thing so they can inflate the price and
Yeah,
get higher commission. If you say you're buying it
yeah.
outright, they're not gonna care two shits what you buy.
Mhm. I
So,
said, "I'm gonna finance it." "Alright, cool."
yeah, it's just
And
yeah, they're slimy. Here more than ever, in College Station, they're pretty
uh,
bad. But
yeah, shout out to I know
yeah,
a
yeah,
couple of
shout
them.
out to all of them over here.
My cousin's a good one, and he tells us stories all the time where he's like, "I pretty much climbed ranks at, like, my place because I was doing, like, ethical car sales because no one else was." So he was like, I like, "No, you don't need that one, you need this one." And then going, like, below, like, what they thought they wanted, like, "No, you don't need that one, you want this one." And eventually, word of mouth travels, and he doesn't have to do anything, he just walks in, someone's already waiting for him, you know? And I was like, "Yeah, that's how it goes." Like,
My advice for people looking to get a car, just to be completely honest with you, one, Toyota here ain't that bad. When I went to Toyota, they were pretty reasonable. However, if you're not looking for a Toyota and you have researched a car, which you should research the car you're looking for the purpose of which it may be long-term travel, longevity in terms of mileage, whatever it may be, quite frankly, research the vehicle, then go to a town where there's 2 dealerships, because if there's just 1, they're gonna screw you. They're gonna screw you no matter what you do. It didn't I mean, they really will. Because if there's 1 town with 2 dealerships, they have to compete against the next guy, which means if somebody gives you a lower rate, you go to them and try to get a lower rate, and you be an asshole. You go be the biggest asshole you can be to get the lowest possible rate. Because either way, you're still getting a bad deal. Whatever they give you is a bad deal, but cars are a requirement for our economy. So
yeah.
it really doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, there's some good ones, but it is really, really painful to
It's
find them.
it's a game.
Yeah.
I would say find a friend or find someone that you know that works in that field before you do any of the stuff. Any decision that requires that, go talk to someone first. Always talk to someone first. Get some info from them on how to play the game, and then go in there.
No. So
So
if you don't
that's my
mind me
rule.
asking,
Mhm.
since we went over your student loans, do you have any other sort of debt, like consumer debt, credit cards, anything like that?
I I got like I got like a little under 2K in credit card stuff, but
How many?
I'd
Oh,
be done
sorry,
by
the
then.
audio cut out.
Oh, a little under 2K in credit cards, but that's gonna be paid off this month anyway, so about to be at 0.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, so you paid off every month, I assume.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but this month I've just been knocking it out, like, "Oh, I'm not taking this into next year." Just
No, I
so I've been
understand
cleaning the
that.
house. I just been
um,
cleaning the house. It's been nice. It's
Yeah.
been fun.
No, I mean, like I said, you seem financially stable, so I
Mhm,
got nothing against that. Um, I've like I said, I've had some that are not. So, and I really, I honestly, I'm just glad you have a good head on your shoulders. So that's good to hear. I've really enjoyed your story, to be honest with you.
mhm,
I'm hoping some people will
nice.
take from this at least a little bit. Since we
Yeah,
talked about a lot, if
nice.
it's okay, I might break this up into different segments. And what we'll probably end up doing is maybe, 20-minute clip and then some shorts of our conversation, if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
Um,
that's all cool with me, man. When I was excited when I found out what the topic was. I was like, "Cool, this is a fun topic."
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a lot
hoping just
just
to get as many people on so everyone can enjoy the experience and then as well as
mhm,
take something away from it. I've seen a lot
yeah,
of people where they kind of pressure the shit out of them to get a reaction. I'm just like, I'm not here to pressure. This is a wholehearted, genuine reaction to anything you're going through, anything you might be considering, and any advice you may want to give or may want from me, happy to give. It's just about real people having a real conversation, and
like I
it might
said,
be
I
boring to
think
some.
no, I boring is good. Like I feel like when you're looking for, like, those highs, you it comes with a lot of BS in the like, but I'm learning now, like, boring is where stability happens, is where beautiful happens and stuff, so, I tell my friends all the time, I was like, "Yo, like, when you slow down and really think about things, you get way better results than, like, chasing every high you can find," which is what you're doing on YouTube. So, but I would say, like, it'd be cool to talk to other people that you talk to. So, I guess once the videos, like, you start putting them up and everything like that, just having, like, a channel where the people that were in it could, like,
Yeah.
talk
Hey,
about the stuff.
hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Unaccountable. If you like the content and you want to see more, be sure to hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel. See y'all around.